Hey there, welcome to this episode of Cinema Crunch. My name is Rose Donahue, and we are filming at the Quantum Arc Media Studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. There are a lot of different film festivals out there, and it can be wise to find the one that's right for you and especially right for your project. Today, I'll be speaking with the founder of the Las Vegas Queer Arts Film Festival, Chris Manzano. Welcome, Chris.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
This is exciting stuff.
Yes, it is. And you've done 2 years of the festival.
Mhm.
So I would say found success the first year, moved on the second. Who knows where we'll go from here? Love that. And I'm really excited to just talk about founding a festival.
Okay.
As I said in the intro, there's different types of festivals out there. There's ones that are relevant to different projects. This is very specific to the queer arts, the queer community. What inspired you to start it in the first place?
Interestingly enough, so actually, personally, what inspired me to do the festival was depression. I was feeling kind of alone and isolated from my own community, from the LGBT community, and I had just I just kind of got back into film in 2017, and so I was making these connections again. I had taken a break for about a year and a half, and I was making all these connections. Reforming all of these bonds. But I started to realize that there wasn't as many LGBTQ filmmakers. I wasn't coming across many of them. Only like a handful. I can count them on my hand how many at that point I was familiar with. And I was thinking to myself, where can I go to meet, people like me and people that are in this industry, but that also identify as part of my community. And I was like, oh, I can't go anywhere. I was like, oh, well, then I guess I'll just make one.
Yes, that's the spirit. I love that.
So that's kind of what inspired me to start it all off.
Very cool. I mean, that's kind of like for any filmmaker ever, you're just like, people say, write the story you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to do it. You're going to be like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So you went for it.
Yeah, and you do it. No matter what comes, you do it.
I love that. So what were some of the first steps for you?
So one of the first steps for me was reaching out to a few of friends that I knew were involved in film festivals, had been kind of involved in the operation of film festivals. And I was just kind of like asking them like, hey, like, how would I get started in this? And, I think it's very important for if you're in film school to take a business class. I really think it's very, very important to do that. A couple business classes.
Sure.
But essentially, the first thing you have to do is decide if your film festival is going to be a for-profit film festival or a nonprofit film festival. And that opens it up to different possibilities for each one and different advantages and disadvantages. So, for example, if it was a for-profit festival, you could, in terms of getting sponsors, sell it more on like, if this is, big, if we get a lot of return, you'll get a return on your investment. Whereas nonprofits, it's like you can't pay the people who invest in your festival. So it's more kind of, you have to decide where your money's going to come from. How do you feel your money's going to come from? Or where do you think it's going to come from? And then that's that first decision.
Okay. And which did you decide on for this one?
Nonprofit.
Okay. Very cool.
And so the benefits for us for being nonprofit were just a lot more because we also had like a social movement with what we were doing.
Absolutely.
It just made sense for what we were doing, especially with like the climate right now. We have a lot of back and forth with, let's not get into that. But
acceptance.
Versus.
Yeah,
exactly.
Meanunnecessarily hatred towards human beings.
Like, can you sit down?
Yeah, let's all be friends. Let's get along.
Let's just chill out.
So, I mean, just since we're on the subject, might as well just be upfront about it, right? There's a lot of animosity towards the LGBTQ community still. So to create a space where people are welcome, where people are less informed about the community, can learn about it, also has value.
That's definitely a big part of the message of the festival. I do think that, there's a lot of advantages to bringing the LGBTQ community and everyone else together, and it really is just about like informing people about who we are. Like, we're all just human. We are literally the same thing. We have the same insecurities. We have the same problems. We have the same solutions. We have the same ups and downs. So, to bring people together and to show them like, hey, guess what? We're all the same. Let's
Right.
have a good time.
Art is such a great way to do that.
Yeah, it really is a fun experience.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I just had to just go for it. Had to get that out of the way. Very important to talk
Hmm.
about. So back to the nuts and bolts,
Hmm.
right? You went
Hmm.
for the nonprofit status.
Yes.
You got a team together.
Yes. So, okay. I think aside from, like the technical aspect of everything, what's really important for making your film festival successful or even having it, get pulled off in the first place is choosing the right team. You have to be confident in the team that you have, and you also have to be prepared to lead this team, and you have to be prepared for like if there's any shortcomings or any, things that have been missed or overlooked, to be okay with like picking up that slack, and just being like, okay, we're good. Like it's fixed. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for the team that I have for this festival, especially because um, I, I, first of all, I love every single one of them very dearly. They're all very important.
Lovely.
All of them are very important
Yeah.
to me. But what I really appreciate about them is that, for example, if something outside of the festival in my life happens that I need to take care of, but something in the festival is still happening that it's like, oh, this also needs to be taken care of, they will like take that,
Step up.
they will step up and they will take it over
Yeah.
so that I can handle what's happening in my life. And
Yeah.
then when that's taken care of, I can come back and resume my duties.
Right.
So
And
it's great.
that for any team to have that teamwork, right?
Hmm.
People are pulling different weights, different days. As long as you can do 100% of what you can do that day,
Hmm.
do it, right?
Hmm.
And that
Hmm.
100% changes day to day, and that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys must have a lot of spreadsheets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So many spreadsheets. Oh my goodness, they're in my
Like
dreams.
you have like tickets,
Yes, we have
sales tracking,
like just
or
the film tracking in itself, submissions. Yes, definitely ticketing. We have the programming. My goodness,
yeah, no.
emails, contact, all of it.
All of it,
Yes,
all of
yeah.
it. How did you guys decide to implement the film submission process?
So, when choosing the platform for what we wanted to do for our film submissions, we were doing research specifically about, again, like which websites or how people would get the submissions that would, be easiest for us, like work better for us, especially because we're a team of 6 people who are doing this all on a volunteer basis, So, Film Freeway seemed to work the best for us. We did a lot of research, and we know that the biggest two at that moment was God, I don't even remember the name, One in a Box or, ooh, don't let me hear that. But Film Freeway was our
Film
obvious
Freeway
choice.
is the way to go.
Film
All right,
Freeway
totally.
was our choice.
Mhm.
And it's really made life easy because like multiple users can be using the festival account, and
Oh,
you'll
that's
have
nice.
multiple people doing like doing screeners, so they'll be reviewing the films. They can put their notes on there. They can put flags about it. Do they like it? Do they think it should proceed? Do they think it's not up
Mm.
to standard? So it's really great because it's kind of like a collaborative platform that you can invite people into, and then you can all just get all of that entire process done, just from your living room. So
Yeah.
it's a really good way to handle it.
Very cool. Very cool. And then, how about sponsorship? I know, I've seen you had a lot of different sponsors, different
Hmm.
types of companies, whether it's a restaurant or production
Hmm.
companies, all sorts. What was the process like for that?
Sponsorship. So that I think is one of the most stressful things for anyone, that in any festival organizer is trying to find the funding for the event.
Mm-hmm.
When in terms of festivals, so what it's really important is that you have to know who is your demographic, who is your market, who is interested in your festival. Because if you know who your audience is, then you can also compare that to the audience of your sponsors. So,
Mm.
for example, if this festival targets LGBTQ, community, then I would be more. I would want to approach businesses that serve to that market,
Yeah,
right?
for
Because there
sure.
would be a better opportunity for kind of cross promotion, and they'll find more value in sponsoring us because we share the same demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's a business that's trying to reach out to this specific demographic, that's also valuable to them. It's like, hey, this business supports LGBT community,
Hmm.
and that's, big now, right? It's like, hey, does this business support LGBT? Yesterday, oh, great, let's go
Right,
eat
right.
there, let's go shop there,
Yeah,
let's,
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's power
so
in the dollars. Where
uh,
you put your dollars makes a big
Hello,
difference.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's important to look at that when deciding who you want to approach for sponsorships, and then also being incredibly patient, not only with yourself but with everyone else, and understanding like everyone has a busy schedule, so not everyone's going to respond to you right away, and sometimes it takes a follow up email,
Sure.
and even if you get a no, okay, great, fine, that's not going to work. You keep moving on to another one.
Yeah.
It's easy to get discouraged by getting so many no's, and it's just like, well, it's got to happen one way or another, so we got to keep it
Exactly.
going.
Right, right. Every couple no's will lead to a yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you better to ask than to not ask at all.
And one of the processes for me that I found works is honestly just reaching out. If you just reach out to these businesses, again, even if it's a yes or a no, you've done that work and you've
Hmm.
reached out to them, you've formed a contact. And even if they don't sponsor this year, maybe they'll sponsor next year, or maybe they'll sponsor the year after.
Sure. Excellent. Excellent. What would you say are some of the expenses that a film festival might need to prepare for?
First and foremost, venue costs. So, finding out what theater you want, what theater works best for you, and then also getting quotes from that theater. So, when I was going through the process for year one, I already knew what I wanted the venue to be. For year two, I wanted to change things up, and so I got quotes from different places, and we were comparing what works best for us in terms of the seats of the theater, what is best for our budget, and what's best for our dollar. So definitely venue for sure is one thing that automatically comes to mind. But
Hmm.
there's also little tiny expenses that you don't think of right away. So let's
Uh-huh.
get into
Well,
those.
please.
Yeah. So printing, just printing,
Yeah.
printing program books, which can be expensive,
Yeah.
printing passes, which is, like the little passes that
Sure.
we have for the thing, getting lanyards, getting the holders for the lanyards. Let's see, we have expenses, just for example, for our festival, we do a lot of video content, to promote the festival, and just to keep the kind of engagement going, and also because it's so fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, the expenses of running a film shoot, that's another thing that you have to keep in mind, because there's nothing that's free in this world, and you only have so many favors,
Right.
and it's great that we've gotten a lot of support from people in our community, but as the festival keeps running, the expenses will keep getting bigger, because more and more
It'll get
it's
bigger.
yeah, get
More
bigger.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Let me think what else. Insurance.
Oh,
You definitely want
yeah.
to consider getting insurance. A lot of theaters, most theaters actually, all theaters actually, will require a certificate of insurance in order for you to
Mm,
have your event there. So
sure.
that's something that you need to put into the budget and consider. There's also permits.
Yeah, yeah,
The cost of processing
yeah.
permits
Uh-huh.
that you want to consider. Let me think. There's so many
Yeah, right. And
things.
because it's nonprofit, you get some in-kind things
Yes,
like,
absolutely. So for example, our opening night we have a ball,
yes, I
and
can't wait to talk more about the ball,
oh
but
yes,
tell me more of this.
so and this relates to the sponsors, right?
Okay.
We obtain sponsors because at the ball we give out prizes, and so we
Mm,
give out prizes from these sponsors, which
got
are
it.
in-kind donations because we're a nonprofit. So again,
Yes.
it's just like the decision that you make in the beginning of how your festival is going to be run kind of impacts how it operates.
Right, right, right. And potentially a restaurant could supply food one of the nights, and that could be an
Hmm.
in-kind donation that
Exactly.
they could write off those
Yeah.
costs.
Exactly.
Sure. So since you brought up the ball, let's talk about it. We were talking before we started the interview of like the ball is like a thing in itself.
Oh my
So
goodness,
I'm
yeah.
excited. Like, tell me a little bit of. We're kind of circling back. A ball, is valuable for the queer community. It
Mhm,
has roots in the history of queer people expressing themselves.
mhm.
So, can you tell me why you decided to add it? Why don't we just start with that? Why did you
Okay.
decide to do the ball?
So one of my character traits, I guess you could say, is that I like to do something that's different from everybody else.
Cool.
So, and I love all of the film festivals that are happening in town. I think they're all great. And I was like, absolutely, we're doing a film festival, but how can mine be different?
Very cool.
And, but there was a lot of other reasons, of course. With the ball, it is rooted in queer culture, absolutely. And, with the show Pose now being in its
Hmm.
second year, it was just a perfect kind of time because Pose, it was that first season when the festival started.
Right.
It was the
Yeah.
first season. And so it was kind of getting into people's purview. Like people were like noted, and they're like, "Oh, is this what is this? This is the ball." And there's a lot of events downtown that I would go to, especially that were kind of similar to that in terms of not they weren't balls, but it was like a opportunity to go and dress up and express yourself and be
Hmm.
creative with your outfits and your fashion and just kind of show off your creativity or your skills. And it's one of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite things to do. And so I just wanted to give everyone else that opportunity to do that too, because it's so fun to go to an event and be dressed to the nines and just feel fabulous
Yeah.
and just walking in and you're like, you can't tell me nothing, and just having a good time and everyone just supporting each other and just cheering each other on. Like it's a vibe. I like it a lot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So mainly, that's I thought that would
That
be a
was the
great addition
inspiration.
for the festival for sure. And then
Totally.
with it being opening night, it would also bring in a different audience for film
Hmm.
festivals. Like film festivals have a specific kind of like people who like to go to film festivals. But I also want to bring the attention of the film festival to people who generally don't go to film festivals, who more go to entertainment nights or going out and things. It's like, hey, like this is a fun, exciting night, but how would you also like to check out some art?
Yeah,
So
totally.
give a
Yeah, Pose is such a great example for people interested in learning a little bit more. And
mhm.
Paris is Burning,
Ah,
such a great film
yes.
for anyone who wanted to learn a little bit more about the
Absolutely.
space.
If anyone wants to know what a ball is, if you're just curious, like what is a ball? Just watch Paris is Burning.
Yeah,
It is it's and it
it's so
also
good.
what's great too is it'll inform you about a lot of our current like lingo or like our dialect and how we speak, like
Mm.
spilling tea and throwing shade and all that. You'll see that
Yeah,
this is like kind of like the origin of all that.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a great I
love that.
recommend everyone watch that movie.
Love that. Yes, totally. So, what are some other benefits to having the ball in addition to the film festival? You kind of touched
Mhm.
on it with that it brought more people in, people who don't necessarily go to a film festival. But what are some other things that you think are exciting about it?
So I think especially that it's like a memorable experience, an exciting event that does kind of promote the festival because it's kicks off the festival.
Hmm.
So that's definitely number one. Another benefit to it is that it's a ball for sure, but the first half of that night is a social mixer. So that's when we
Mm.
have all of the locals, filmmakers, artists, any any LGBTQ identifying filmmakers or artists or anyone who wants to show up to have an opportunity to meet local people in our industry and kind of build connections. So I think that for sure is one of the benefits of it, of the ball bringing people in
Hmm.
and like, hey, you're here, why don't you come meet these people? Why don't you come make these
Totally.
connections?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
definitely a benefit.
And you never know what connections will lead to other things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you're making a fabulous costume for the ball, maybe someone will be like, hey, can you do wardrobe for my
Hello,
project?
yes. One of our board members, actually, she's a designer, and so it's really great because she's been just recently like being approached by film projects or for film projects to make custom garments.
So cool.
So it's a, yeah, definitely like your skills are always going to be useful.
Hmm.
Even if you're not sure how they can be, they are useful. So it's great to meet people and kind of share what kind of art and artist you are.
Right, totally. And maybe they'll see something that you hadn't thought of.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. Also, I really appreciate that you said that it's an experience. Experiential marketing is such a thing today. People
Mhm.
don't want to go to like regular old events. People like to have some takeaway from events.
Mhm.
So it's great
Mhm.
that you're thinking that through as well. Um, wow, so many fun things. Such a great conversation. Uh, what are some other like last takeaways you would tell someone who is planning or might feel inspired to plan a festival?
So when deciding to plan a festival, the number one thing is you want to be sure that it's something you want to do. You have to be passionate about it. You have to care about it because it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So when you're gonna do it, when you're gonna decide to do it, be sure it's what you want to do. Like, be absolutely certain that you're doing it for the right reasons. Because I mean, it's been 2 years for me, and I mean, I work on this daily.
Mm.
And it's something that you have to be prepared to do a lot of hard work for. You have to be willing to do the work, so you have to be sure of it. But always be willing to ask for help. It's, never a bad thing to ask for help. It's never a bad thing to, say, "Hey, I'm not familiar with this. I'm new to this. Can you perhaps give me some guidance?" People will help you. People want to see you succeed, and as long especially as well as if you're doing it for the right reasons.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I encourage you all to make your own festivals. I encourage you all to make your own spaces, but just be prepared to do the work.
Yep. Gosh, that's always true. I love that. And where can people find out more about you and the festival?
You can follow us on Instagram at LV Queer Arts, LV Queer Arts, and our website is lvqueerarts.com. We made it easy. LV Queer Arts everywhere.
Perfect.
That's all you got to type.
Got being consistent. I love
You
that.
gotta
I love
be.
that. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for
today.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. And thank you all for tuning into this episode of Cinema Crunch. Again, my name is Rose Donahue, and we're filming at the Quantum Arc Media Studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Catch you next time.